Good evening, Marv Rabbi Sai. Good evening to everybody on Torah Anytime. Thank you so much for being Mefitz Torah and everywhere in the world, everywhere, anytime. Tonight's Zera Shimshon Shir is generously sponsored by Mendy Feinsag in honor of his father's yahrzeit, Rabbi Yaakov ben Reb Shlomo HaKohen, Zechrayna Levracha. It's also Le'ilui Nishmas, my parents, it's Reb Tzvi ben Reb Simcha Bunim HaKohen, and Friday Bas Yitzchak Aryeh Halev Areni Kaparas Mashkova. Parnosa Berger Uvechaved Ad Belidai for Yosef ben Chana Esther Roizer, Shlomi Yosef ben Rachel, Chaim Hillel ben Karen Sivia, Meir ben Miriam, Elozer ben Matel, Yitzchak Mechul ben Baruch. And for a 2.5-year-old boy who's in the hospital in Wisconsin, Yeshua Shalom ben Yocheved Basya, who needs a refuah shalem and rachmei shamayim. The zchus of the Zera Shimshon should give him a refuah shalema. Mazal herem besuris taivus. Okay. This week, Acharei Mois Kedoshim. Page Pei Hey, letter Daled. Page Pei Hey, letter Daled. I was asked when I was sitting Shiva that when I speak Yiddish, it should not be Litvische Yiddish, it should be Hasidische Yiddish. Azoy to make a beten. So
I don't agree.
Polish. Somebody said, right, so Medaftach machen Ayid daftach zan zufrieden. So if you, I don't know, now, I used to give the shir in Hebrew, English, and Yiddish, and I have to give 2 types of Yiddish also. Is Azoy. Shabbos Perik Aleph Tana Dibei Eliyahu. Maiseh betalmud echad. Sheshana harbe v'kora harbe. Imagine if the Gemara zukt Shana harbe v'kora harbe, that means egevein ha'emes ha'tamid chocham. Shana harbe v'kora harbe. Umeis bechatzi yomov. Nebuch, he was avek. Half Chatzi Yomov means Yemeshin Aseinu Bem Shivim Shana V'Gmar Shmaidim Shana. Alpi Pashtas, he was nifter at the age of 35 years old. Bechatzi Yomov. Chatzi Yomov would mean to say Ugahakt, chorus. Chorus. V'hoisa Ishtai Naiteles Tfilin. The woman, his wife. You see it's a little bit cut off over here. Let me read for you the Gemara, the original Gemara. Ami chashavti alecha hayom. Hine. V'hoisa ishtay naiteles tfilav umachzirosam bebotei kinesiyos ubebotei midrashos. She took this almone, aying vabel. She went to shuls. She came 18 Forshay, 20 Forshay, 10th Aleph, 10th Beis, 10th Gimel, 10th Aleph, 10th Hay, across the street. Zizarim gegangen with the tefillin. Ve'omra lehem, ksiv batoira, ki hu chayecha ve'oirech yamecha. Ki hu chayecha. If you keep Torah and you do mitzvahs, ki hu chayecha v'oirech yamecha. Bali, my husband, shona harbe, kora harbe, shimesh tamidei chachamim. Mishamish gemein tamidei chachamim. It says Rashi on the top of the page, lahasbiroi stumais ha-mishnah v'tameha, v'unikra talmud, et gelernt halucha l'maisa. My husband, Egvein Azah Groise Tamid Chocham. Mipnei Ma'ameis Bechatzi Yomov. Why was he nifter at such a young 35 years old? How could I lose a husband? What happened to Kihu Chayecha V'Arich Yamecha? Ve'loi Hoya Adam Machzira. No one answered. They couldn't answer her. Pam Achas Nisarachti Etzla. Says Eliyahu Hanavi. This is Eliyahu Hanavi talking. Turn to Eliyahu. Eliyahu Hanavi came to visit her. Kaidim Kol Meirav Rabbi site. Listen to what it says about the stature of such a woman. She was Zoicha to Gilui Eliyahu. Eliyahu Hanavi came in Seir. She had a visit from Eliyahu Hanavi. We all have visits from Eliyahu Hanavi. He comes on Leila Seder. The fact that we don't see him is not his fault. You know the famous story with the Chafetz Chaim and Rav Schwab, right? There's a Gaon Ayid who lived here in Monsey. His name was Rav Mordechai Schwab. Rav Mordechai Schwab lived here in Old Monsey. You knew him? Is your father's Rebbe? I wasn't zeicha to meet him.
It was my Rebbe. I was in like third grade.
Oh, Reb Rosoksta? Oh, I'm sorry. He lived on West Maple, right next to Beis Tefillah. Rabbi Mordechai Schwab, Zechrona Levracha, and the Panovich Rav were teenagers. They were besach hakol 19, 20 years old. They were buchrim. They were in Radin, standing on line to see the Chafetz Chaim. While they're on line, Segai Taran, an Elter Yid, an older Jew, walks in, cuts the line, goes in. The Chafetz Chaim spends a little bit of time with him. According to the story, I heard it from Reb Moshe Schwab, Zechrona Levracha, about 20 minutes, 15 minutes. Then the Chafetz Chaim they see him walk out with this Elter Yid. And he escorts him out till outside, and he comes back afterwards. On his way in, the Panovich Rav and Reb Mordechai Schwab, so goes the story, asked the Chafetz Chaim, who was that holy-looking Jew, very given there, Heilige Yid? To which the Chafetz Chaim said, you saw him? That was Eliyahu Hanavi. When they went out after they met the Chafetz Chaim to the Gas and Radin, they asked people, did you see the Chafetz Chaim walking like about a half an hour, 40 minutes ago? They said, yeah, who was he walking with? The people said, nobody, he was walking by himself. So to see Eliyahu Hanavi is a madrega. This young lady in our Gemara was Zoicha to Gilu Eliyahu. Eliyahu Hanavi came to visit her. She was talking about the whole story, her husband. She told him about how she took his tefillin to Beis Medrash. How come my husband, who was such a big tzaddik, died at the age of 35 years old? Amarti la biti. And Eliyahu Hanavi said, my daughter, bi'meini daseich mahu etzleich. When you were a nida, what was it like by you in the house? Amrali chas v'shalom. Afilu etzba ketana loynogami. We have his finger, nicht ungeriert. He didn't touch me. B'yemei levanech ma'u etzlech. And when you were doing the 7 yemei of Lavan, those the Zayin yemei asvira, it says ochalimi, shasa imi, yoshen imi, bekirav basar. The harchakos that Chazal said that every husband and wife should keep harchakos. It's not a chassan class tonight, but the harchakos, I hope the Olam remembers, those harchakos he didn't keep. He didn't have to, because he was such a gibor. He was so koivish as Yetzer Hara. He could be next to me in the Zelba bet and gurnished. I Ashtarke mensch, a gibor, koivishes yitzroi. Amarti la baruch hamakim shahorgoi. Baruch hamakim shahorgoi. Nishnar the Rebbeinu Shalaylam is at fault. You have to have Eliyahu Navi's perspective. Shalai nosa panim la Torah. He paid no attention. He was loy nosa panim to the Torah. Shari amra Torah el isha benidas tumasa loy sikrav. When a woman is a nida, you can't come even close. Loy sikrav. And therefore, he, an oiber chocham, you know what that means, right?
Smart aleck.
Smart aleck. He eken beser. He knows better than the chachamim, right? So therefore, he didn't have the schus to have arichas yomim. Your question that you asked, ki hu chayecha va'oirech yamecha, that you have to keep the Torah and not be 1 kilo, you're 1 step above. Ki asur evdimi amar. Okay, good. That's the Gemara. V'kasha. Zog the Zera Shimshon. V'kasha. I have a few questions. 3 questions, says the Zera Shimshon. This is Gemara. First of all, what lesson is the Gemara teaching us when the Gemara says that the woman took his tefillin? Notal tefillin and went from Beis Medrash to Beis Medrash. What's epis? Why didn't he take his tzitzis? Why didn't he take anything? What do you need something for? Just go and say, my husband was a Talmud Chacham, why was he nifter? What's the added message here about taking the tefillin and going, of all things, Efshel Nemen's Kappel?
Maybe there was a psul in the tefillin. Maybe she wanted to have, some people have an issue they check the tefillin.
So she would ask him to check it, but it's not what she said. She didn't say check my mezuzahs, and she didn't say check the tefillin. And she didn't bring the mezuzahs of the door either. You know, we learned here in Zera Shimshon a while ago, the word mezuzas is zaz maves. Remember? Zaz, the mezuzah is a shmira, zaz, it pushes away death. So if you wanted to bring an article that would show protection, l'chayra mezuzah would be a very appropriate article. You could bring the mezuzah. Mezuzah is zav maves. Pusepes maves it could come into a hair. Didn't bring the mezuzah. Could have brought the tzitzis. Didn't bring the tzitzis. Brought the tefillin. The kasha is twofold. What do you have to bring something for, number 1? And number 2, why of all things that you're bringing is the tefillin? We're going to learn tonight a little bit the inyan of kedushas tefillin. Along the line of this message, it's also practical to learn about the inyan of kedushas tefillin. Continues the Zera Shimshon. Why tefillin v'lo dvar macherim? Why taka was everyone else dumbfounded? Why was everybody else not able to answer? V'zepis you needed Dafke Eliyahu Hanavi to answer. Umarat Saloimer, the nusach that Eliyahu Hanavi said, Shalai nosa panim la Torah. The word nasai means to lift up. What does it mean? It didn't lift up nosa panim la Torah. That's his questions. Zogti Zera Shimshon, follow me now along on a journey to learn a little bit about the inyan of tefillin and how a person has to deal with shmira from chet. Zogti Heilige Zera Shimshon, v'yesh leimer. Sha'isha zoi sabah b'taina. As the Gemara says, she had a taina. What was her taina? D'chsev ki hu chayecha v'oirech yamecha. The Torah Kedosha is chayecha v'oirech yamecha. Do you remember what oirech yamim means? Long days. What does it mean, long days? Your long days doesn't just mean a long life, right? We say over alamo b'shem the maharal. Long days means that your life in this world is connected to a higher reality, which means when you live a 24-hour day, you would say the day began, the day ended, right? Ke'endik, and that day is gone. Not if you filled your life with Torah and mitzvahs. When a person lives his life or her life, when you live with Torah and mitzvahs, you're going to benefit. You're going to benefit. That day will be oirech yomim. That day will go on for a very, very long time. You'll be able to be zoicha to live that day arichas yomim. Svetzana lange tug. That day is going to last for eternity because you connected yourself to eternity. A day that you fulfill Torah mitzvahs, you're connected to etzem shayrish achayim, connected to the Eibishter. So maybe you're going to say, but maybe he learned a lot, as the Mishnah says in Perkei Avos, that your ma'asav should be meruba mechachmasai, not chachmasai meruba b'ma'asav. What does that mean in English? You learn a lot, but you don't do. You have to learn, and as much as you learn, you have to do even more. You have to always be in that matzav of pi'ilut. You're learning and you're doing mitzvahs. You should know, maybe you think that my husband didn't do mitzvahs, and he was just a big Talmid Chacham, but it was all theoretical. That's not true. And maybe Mishum Kach Nafal B'chet, V'kro tehu chayecha hainu b'misha mekayim v'loi b'misha loimed. The kihu chayecha pasuk means that he did the mitzvahs. I'm bringing you the tefillin to show you that my husband was mekayim mitzvahs. That the inyan of mitzvahs is that it gives a person an inyan of kiyum. Umishum hachi haisay naitelas tefillin kalaymar shela oilam. You know how you're supposed to wear tefillin? Loi holach arba amos beloi tefillin. My husband was constantly connected to the Eibishter. V'im kain I efshar shesiach daitoi. As a matter of fact, when a person wears tefillin, you're not allowed to be mesiach das. V'nofal bechet. Shari mitzvahs tefillin ishalo yasiach daita mehem. Because the mitzvah of tefillin is you're not supposed to not think about it. Let's take a look at the Gemara in Brachis. I think so. No, is it the Gemara in Brachis or the Gemara in Shabbos? 1 second.
Are you allowed to eat with tefillin?
You ask if you're allowed to eat with tefillin? So, if a person is makbid on his tefillin, it says you're not allowed to pass gas with your tefillin. That it says you're not allowed to do. Shteitnish, you're not allowed to, there's no isser to eat with it. There's only an isser the other way. Okay? The Gemara says, I couldn't find it here at this moment, the Gemara says that a person wears tefillin. Rav was a Talmud of Rebbe, and he wore tefillin his whole life. The Gemara talks about a number of the Amoraim who were always wearing tefillin all day. The Rambam Taka brings down la halacha that a person should be very careful b'mitzvahs tefillin, because when a person is wearing his tefillin, it's there to be mechaber him to the Eibishter. The Gemara Taka says, and this is what I was looking for over there. It's a Gemara in Brachas Daf Lamed. The Gemara says, here it is. Gemara Zukta Zoi. You have a Yosef Kamei de Rava. Abaye was sitting in front of Rabbah. He was a little bit making a few different, like badach. He was happy. He was besimcha. So his Rebbe said to him, Amalei v'gila beroda. You're supposed to be happy, gila beroda, aber with abissal atziternish, which means you have to temper your happiness with abissal yireh. Rabbi Yirmiyah have a kabodach, have a osvakamed Rav Zera, have a kabodach tuva. He saw he was happy. He said to him, B'chol eitzav yemuter. Amaloi tefillin kamanchi. I'm wearing my tefillin. In both cases, the Gemara over there in Bracha says, he said, I'm wearing my tefillin. Here it is. Says Rashi, Heim edus shememsheles koinu mishorsai olai. I'm wearing my tefillin, and that's an edus that the Eibishter is with me. Explains the Maharal. When a person is wearing tefillin, V'rou kol amei ha'aretz ki shem Hashem nikra alecha. V'rou kol amei ha'aretz shem Hashem nikra alecha. Explains, I once heard from my Rebbe Zechreinu Levracha, when you put your tefillin on your body, you put the name of Hashem on your body. You write the name of Hashem on your body. Why? Where is the name of Hashem in tefillin? The name of Hashem, there's a shin, there's a dalid. The shin is on your box. The dalid is in the back. Even if you have a little square, it's two dalids. And where's your yud? On the hand. But if it's in two different boxes, if the shin and the dalid is on the rosh, and the yud is on the shel yad, how are you writing the name of Hashem? The teretz is when you put them on and you wear it, then your body writes the name of Hashem on it. Which means that the tefillin in your tefillin zekala has the letters of Hashem, but not the name of Hashem, because it's in two different boxes. But when you put them together on yourself, then Shem Hashem Nikra Alecha. Your body writes the name of Hashem. My Rebbe said that makes the tefillin more holy when it's on you than when it's in the bag. Because when it's on you, hast du geschrieben the nomen from the Eibishter. You wrote the name of Hashem through you. So it becomes activated. Take a light bulb. It's off. There's no electricity. Put the light on. There's electricity. It's meir. The tefillin in the zekel is a pair of tefillin that potentially has the name of Hashem. The tefillin of a mensch, when you put it on you, you're writing the name of Hashem with the tefillin. The tefillin get bigger kedusha. Through you, you become the electricity for that tefillin. My husband was always connected to the Bashefer. Hashem Yishmorcha Mikol Ra. The Eibush is supposed to protect you. Why didn't he not protect my husband? That's why she was taking his tefillin. Listen to what Eliyahu Navi told her, according to the Zera Shimshon. Zuk the Zera Shimshon, and it says, "V'ksiv when a person does everything he can to watch himself from chet, so then min hashemayim mishamer moisei. The Eibush to watch him. Second column, top of the page. Like it says, "Tzoyfa Roshel et Tzadik v'Hashem lo yazvenu." The Russia wants to get him, Hashem doesn't let. Hashem yishmorcha mikol ra, yishmor es nafshecha, raglei chasidav yishmor, v'lo yehaya shum adam sheyideh shum chet. Nobody could understand what. So what did he do wrong? He's connected to tefillin. He has the Eibishter's name on him. Vusiz. Mishum hachi lo yachal lahasrim like tshuva. They couldn't answer. Eliyahu Navi went into her house. There's probably a message here. There's probably a message. She was coming to the Bate Midrashim. But keiner is nicht reingegangen bei ihr. One of my Talmidim called me up last week. I'm going to explain to you in English. One of my Talmidim, don't worry, Yitzhak, I won't leave you hanging, I promise. One of my Talmidim called me up. There's a certain Talmid who's in a bitter battle of divorce. Terrible, ugly, geferlach. And it's going nowhere. This other Talmud spent 2.5 hours with his friend. And he did something which nobody else did. Everybody else was telling the fellow who's fighting, do this, do that. Why are you doing this? You should do that. Nobody asked him, how are you doing? No one asked him and no one told him, you must be going through a hard time. Memela, nobody got to him except this other chaver, who was able to tuoif more in those 2 hours than everybody else did in years. You know why? Because he went into his life. He went and put himself by him. Eliyahu Hanavi came to her. Nis'arech etzlo. Let's see what's going on by you. Instead of you coming to us, let's see what's going on by you. And that way he was megala what's really going on. Let's go weiter in the Zera Shimshon. And I asked her about how they were together. And she told me how he wasn't or had his own ideas of how they should keep the halachas of separation. And to which Eliyahu Navi says, Baruch Hashem, Baruch HaMokan, Kiloimar. And here's the main point. Kiloimar. Hoyel shuhu hoya miskarev atzmai eitzel achet. Ein oid svara shashem yizbarach yishmerehu. He brought himself close to chet, which means sha'adarabba hoya loy laharchik atzmai min aveira. There's an inyan that a person has to be harchik midover ra. In Yiddish, pull yourself away. Don't let yourself get into a sticky situation. The preventive medicine, all the doctors say, preventive medicine. Check, make sure you know, do your colonoscopy, do your this, do your that, all the mices. Preventive medicine is the best way to fight illness. Preventive medicine is the best way to get shmira from the Eibishter. You want him to want to make sure he helps you not to do a sin. So pull yourself away. You pull yourself away, Hashem shoymerecha. V'hashta shaloi osar mishmeres lemishmeres shel Torah. Since he didn't do that, adrabba niskarevetz egvod vasen kikvi stark ich bin. Look how strong I am. I can get into bed and I'm not going to do anything. Ich bin a gibor. Very nice. But to go ahead and get protection from the Eibishter, I'm sorry, you lost that. Now you're not going to have. For days hostanished. Bevadesh and HaKadosh Baruch Hu shoymrei oid. Shari einoi nichnas begeder chasidim. He as nishkan chusid. You know what a chusid is? Not just gekreisel to pious. You know why you have gekreisel to pious? Because you want to look Jewish. Because you want it to be a shmita that people look and say, you can't do that, Aveira. Look at what you look like. You're an Orthodox Jew, right? So, you know, you don't put the pious into the kapula, you hide them. No, you wear your pious proud. I'm a Jew and I'm proud of it. So you go ahead and kick, right? And that is a shmira. And that's a form of protection. The einochanami, if you don't do that, if you don't pull your ways from sin, then you can end up falling in. When a person pulls from loyli boy in shilamem rachmani yachbinam, the person shouldn't say, Eibishter, pull the chet away from me. Pull me away from the chet. Ela yarchik chet minon. Pull the chet away from me. Shma mino shechoivo mutelas ala odem laharchik atzmei min hachet. You pull yourself away, and Hashem will give you the siyata d'shmai. You know that there's something over there down the street that's a shtickle, a trigger, something which is a problem. Don't go there. Don't go ahead and put yourself into a difficult situation. Get yourself away. V'af al pi shoyoloi min harba, mekol mokem loy nosa panim la Torah. That's what it means, nosa panim, to pick up in a way to give credibility and to give chashivas, to understand that there's a danger there and I have to pull myself away. That was the lesson. So, in as much as tefillin has a koyach for a person to be miskasher with the Eibishter, and it's a strong koyach. You know, Baruch Hashem, I think everybody sitting in the room over here puts on tefillin. Everybody listening puts on tefillin. But understand that what you put on tefillin, you're putting the Eibishter kaviyochel, you're connecting yourself to the Eibishter. At that time, shouldn't be speaking divrei b'teilim. At that time, you should appreciate how holy you are when you're wearing that tefillin. Don't let the Yetzer Hara diminish what you accomplish. When you're wearing tefillin, you become a vehicle through which your guf becomes a kadosh v'tar. Like the minhag Chabad is to see that every single Jew, chotchik, at least one time should put tefillin on in their life. That means they connected themselves to the Eibishter. They can have olam haba because they connected to Hashem in this world. Every day you have the schus to put on tefillin. Every day you have a chance to connect to the Eibishter. As we learn from tonight's Zera Shimshon, the quality of that connection is dependent on how much a person is careful. Laharchik atzmai min hachet. Tefillin is the connection. You know, you can have a best friend. He's a business genius. He can make you a ton of money. He can pick you up your midas. But if you don't use the relationship properly, you were a good friend with a good person, but you never grew with him. The Eibishter is the best companion. Through the Eibishter, you can be zoicha to alle brachas, and he allows us to be miskasher ourselves to him. But we also have to value that relationship. We have to be harchek min hachet. That's ki hu chayecha. That's what the Zera Shimshon is teaching us. The person was a big Talmid Chacham. The person was doing mitzvahs, but he never valued that relationship. He never valued the fact that now that you have such a good relationship, harchek atzmecha, move away from the negativity. Doset nishketon, zok the Zera Shimshon. So he wasn't zoichet. He had all the possibilities and all the potential. Lama ala zoiche zayin. As we travel, Rabbi Sai, day after day after day through the Omer, and we get closer and closer to Har Sinai, we're getting closer and closer to the day that the Eibishter gives us the Torah. It's an opportunity, letaher atzmeinu, to be mitayr ourselves from all of the kos, psig, upigam, v'chol klipos, like we say in the Rabbeinu Shalom. Let's use the time as we distance ourselves from all of the negative. Shmira mira will be an opportunity for connection to good.